Here's a list of the top 10 celebrities who came from nothing. 10. Leighton Meester. Chic and polished celebrity Leighton Meester was actually born in a Texas prison while her mother was serving time for drug smuggling. Although Meester's mother was allowed to spend 12 weeks in a halfway house with the newborn Leighton, she was soon sent back to prison, and Meester lived with her grandma in Florida until her mother was released. Meester is now estimated to be worth $5 million. 9. Celine Dion. Celine Dion was the youngest of 14 children and grew up in a low-income French-Canadian family, having fun at her parents' piano bar, where her father earned only $160 a week to support his 16-member family. Her big break came when she and her family sent a song of her own to music manager René Angelo. Moved to tears by her voice, he mortgaged his house to pay for her first record, and continued to coach her all her life. The two are now married, and it is now estimated that Dion is worth $400 million. 8. Shania Twain. Young Shania Twain was raised in a violent household in Bitterly Cold Timmins, Ontario, where she grew up with 3 siblings, impoverished and often hungry. When Twain was 21, her mother and stepfather were in a fatal car accident, and Twain sang in local resorts to support her 3 younger siblings. After her siblings were old enough to move on their own, Twain showcased her songs and singing skills and caught the attention of a few labels, including Mercury Nashville Records, who were going to sign her and give her the platform she needed to become a star. Twain is now estimated to have a net value of $350 million. 7. Jim Carrey. It could just be Jim Carrey's world-famous sense of humor that kept him going in his tough beginnings. Born and raised in Canada, Carrey dropped out of high school when his dad was laid off to help pay the bills. Carrey worked as both a janitor and a security guard, but in spite of his efforts, his family eventually lost their home and were forced to live in a van. When Carrey moved to the US, he struggled on a comedy circuit in Los Angeles before breaking it big in his first TV show, In Living Color. It is now estimated to earn around $20 million per film. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. 6. Tom Cruise. Cruise was raised in Ottawa, Canada, and was involved in drama in the 4th and 5th grades, but moved to the US after his parents had divorced. Despite the transition, Cruise's talent continued to flourish, and while he aspired to be a Catholic priest, his family was raised as a Catholic. He became an actor and first appeared in movies at the age of 19, and is now worth $250 million. However, Cruise's upbringing wasn't without difficulty. While Celine Dion describes her beginnings as happy, Cruise recalls growing up in near poverty and being abused by her father, whom Cruise now describes as a brutal and cowardly man. 5. Demi Moore. Demi Moore was born in Roswell, New Mexico, and raised in a trailer park by her alcoholic mother and stepfather. She witnessed domestic violence at home, and had an unstable upbringing, moving more than 30 times because of her stepfather, who frequently changed jobs. By 16, Moore had moved out and signed with the elite modeling agency, working as a pin-up girl in Europe, later to become a successful actress after a brief but controversial period of nude photography. It's worth $150 million now. 4. Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio had a very bare childhood, living with his mother, who worked a number of jobs to support the family in a number of seedy neighborhoods in Los Angeles. He went on to graduate from high school and began acting early, landing an ad for Matchbox cars at 14. It's worth $200 million now. 3. Sarah Jessica Parker. Sarah Jessica Parker, who was raised in Ohio's coal mining town, was the youngest of 4 children, born to struggling parents who would get divorced when she was 2. After her mother had remarried, 4 more children would have been born, and the family had difficulty getting by, because her mother was a housewife, and her stepfather was a truck driver. Parker's talent led her to land her first Broadway role at the age of 11, and at the age of 16 she would move to Hollywood to appear on her first TV show, Square Pegs. Parker is reportedly worth $90 million today. 2. Jay-Z grew up humbly in Brooklyn's Marcy housing projects and was involved in crime while growing up, shooting his brother in the arm at the age of 12 for stealing his jewelry. As a teenager, Jay-Z sold drugs to make ends meet and became a rapper, which would prove to be his most lucrative move, as it is now reported to be worth $550 million. 1. Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey, who was raised by her grandma, was born to a teenage single mother in rural Mississippi in poverty. Winfrey talked about experiencing significant hardship as a child and the fact that she was raped at the age of 9 and became pregnant at the age of 14. Her son died in childhood. When Winfrey was sent to Tennessee to live with her father, Winfrey found a job in the radio field while still in high school, and began her journalism career as a co-anchor of local evening news at 19. It's worth $2.9 billion now. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for daily entertaining videos.